with a song called Avalon there. You are at Grossman's Tavern. You are listening to the Happy Pals New Orleans Party Orchestra. Yeah, so I was asked to say a word about who all these people are. Well, I'm not going to tell you who each of them are, but with the Happy Pals, we've been playing here in one form or another since before there was water, actually. Round about, well, it depends who you ask. Some people say 1969, some say 1970s, some say the mid-70s, and so on. I'm a newcomer, however. I've only been playing here 27 years, so just starting out. And we play here every Saturday afternoon, playing New Orleans music and in the old style.
Well, there used to be a lot of black guys working at Grossman's. So I went down to the Paramount, and my friend was working there, and he says, let's go up to Grossman's. So when I went up there, and it was about 6 o'clock, and I said, oh my God, when I walked in the door, I said, oh my God, this is my music. And Cliff was playing "Eh là-bas." That was the last song of the evening. Cliff was playing jazz at Grossman's for 35 years, and when you went over there, you could never get a seat. People would be there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And if they couldn't get a seat, they'd go out and buy a chair.
Grossman always brought in these New Orleans-style jazz band or different kind of music?
I think they started in 1971 with Kid Bastions and the Happy Pals.
It's an interesting story how we joined the Happy Pals. We had our own band, but Cliff's band and Grossman's was the place. But then he lost his sax player. And I really wanted to play with Cliff. I really wanted to play at Grossman's. And our band, actually, we lost, Charlie went to Ottawa, we lost, our band fell apart. Cliff's band was falling apart. And I thought, well, why don't we put the two together? The only problem was Patrick played trumpet and Cliff played trumpet. So I said to Patrick, say, Patrick, how long will it take you to play saxophone? How about it?
I said, okay, Cliff, here's the thing. I know the style of band you want. I know the style of saxophone you want. I know all the tunes. I know the arrangements. I know the keys. I know the chords. And the only thing I don't know is how to play the saxophone. But, if you think it's worth my while, I'll give it a shot. And 6 weeks later, I was the sax player in the Happy Pals.
Oh, 6 weeks later, playing in public.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad. But the fact is, he was willing to do what it took to help the future of the music.
I said, Cliff, come by for my birthday party. And he says, when's your birthday? And I said, the 22nd of November. He said, oh my God, mine's the 21st. I said, all right, well, he says, we'll have a party together. And ever since then, we've been having our birthday parties together.
How many years?
Oh my God, since about 40 years. Till up till the time he passed away. We marched in on a slow beat. It was full of people, packed with people. People were standing. We went up on the stage and they played songs. People got up and talked about them. Then after that, we're done with the service. We marched out. Well, I was there one day, and Peter and Cliff says, Noonie, Cliff went and bought an umbrella, and he decorated, and he says, would you do the parade after the band finished playing? I said, all right. It's like New Orleans.
With the early New Orleans drumming, they were affected by or influenced by ragtime music, brass band music, and by the vaudeville kind of style, among other styles. So they, this beat is basically the same thing. Same beat, okay, right? Yeah. As in the parades. So they went from, a lot of those drummers, the musicians, went from playing a parade in the afternoon maybe to playing in a dance hall in the evening. But they still had that beat in their minds, of parading. And that's how you get people parading, because they feel that.
Is this a New Orleans tradition?
Yes. Tradition, yes, New Orleans tradition.
How long you have been playing with the Happy Pals?
Since the last century.
You don't look that old.
Long time, yeah. Patrick introduced me to Kid when Kid was playing the drums, actually. And he brought me down and I saw Kid Bastian playing the drums. And that's how I got into the style, got interested in the style and began listening to the recordings of all the old New Orleans style bands. Yeah.
You follow that tradition?
I followed the tradition with this drum and this drum. In modern jazz, this would be a very big cymbal and there would be several cymbals, and this would be small. The bass drum would be small and the cymbal would be big. And there would also be the hi-hat over here.
Okay.
So this is important, and this is the most important, the snare drum and the bass drum. And this is less important in this style of music. So, and that's why I think New Orleans jazz is more similar to some other types of music more so than modern jazz, because it's more of a folk jazz, more like dance music of, some people call it military jazz or folk jazz or primitive jazz, whatever you want to call it.
I went to school with Patrick Tavern, the band leader currently, and also Chuck Clark, who is the drummer, way back in 1969.
So did you bring them here?
No. I found out years later that Patrick and Chuck actually played this band. I wasn't aware of it until when they started playing. Both of them were very studious and they were very good academically. And so was Chuck and Patrick together. They were considered to be above average student. In fact, Patrick was very, very good.
After I finished doing a doctorate in physics, I went to the Ontario Science Centre and I did public science performance for a while, and then I became an exhibit developer, making the stuff that you see up there, and eventually I was the science director. So I had a group of as many as 20 scientists working with me, and we made all kinds of cool stuff for people to do when exploring science. It was good fun.
Roberta, did you meet him through physics or music?
Physics. It's very romantic, the story. We actually met outside of second year calculus. I failed the course. I like to blame Patrick on that. I was in love. When I first met him, every Friday he got together with a bunch of friends, a case of beer, and they played music. And I thought, geez, that looks like a lot of fun. So I kind of was wondering how I could get into this. He had a girlfriend on piano before, and then they broke up, and I thought maybe I shouldn't try that girlfriend on the piano thing again. Plus, I started listening to these records from New Orleans, and there's this trombone player, Jim Robinson, who is fabulous, who completely spoke to me. And so being very casual, I said, hey, Patrick, you know, if I were to play music like this, I think I would play the trombone. And the next day, we went down to Long McQuaid, rented a trombone. He said, this is a mouthpiece, do this. Okay, go away and practice. And that was, he taught me how to play the trombone.
My mom would get us into Grossman's Tavern, Albert's Hall, Flicks we used to go to, Maloney's. There was all sorts of places. But you see, I have 5 brothers, 3 sisters, and my mom brought us up here in Toronto, downtown Toronto. And, you know, babysitting, she wanted to go out and have a good time. So babysitting meant, you know, maybe we'd go and see some music. You know, when I was like 10 years old, we would be sitting there watching the bands, you know, like in front of the stage, cross-legged, you know, going, wow, you know. And it was a tight community, you know, of musicians then, you know. It was like that. It was a family, you know, outside of our family kind of thing. We'd sit there and Cliff would be playing, or later Patrick was playing, and I just kind of got, you know, excited about this Saturday afternoon ritual kind of thing, you know.
My dad's actually a pretty well-known Canadian jazz musician, but I didn't grow up with him. I never ever liked modern jazz. I don't know why, just something, it never pleased my ear.
When you say modern jazz, what is modern jazz?
Like Miles Davis, you know, like all the big, just that style. I can respect it, I really respect it, but I don't sit down and listen to it like I would a New Orleans record, you know. So,
Why?
I think just something, when I was a kid, I would watch my dad play it and I would always fall asleep. Every song, it was too complicated for me. I didn't like it. I was always just the first one to sleep on the table and I'd wake up to clap at the end of it. It just was, I don't know.
So this New Orleans jazz, how that came about to you?
Just from listening to the records, I in secret asked Roberta to borrow a trombone from her because Patrick didn't want me to play trombone. And then I just sat around with it a bit. And then Toby asked me to play with the Don Valley Stompers, so I got that opportunity to learn while playing with people. For some reason, the trombone and I communicated well, you know, my brain picked it up.
After the storm hit in New Orleans, they had a big benefit, and the Happy Pals were on the bill, and I heard them, and I was like blown away. I was like, "This is fantastic! This is what I've been looking for." So I went down to Grossman's the next Saturday, and pretty much went every Saturday after that. And I was playing the saxophone at that time, and one day it was just like, "Hey Patrick, I'm going to try playing the bass," and then it just kind of went from there.
Did you play any other instruments before?
Yeah, I played piano since I was tiny. Saxophone throughout high school and guitar here and there, and I picked up the banjo along the way. So
is this your instrument now?
Pretty much, yep. A couple more payments, then it's mine. So then.
Patrick Tavern wanted me to play. I kind of wanted to play. And I play pretty well one style, and I haven't expanded off of that. I should, but I don't have time to.
When you say one style, what is that style?
The human metronome.
What?
The metronome, you know.
Oh, okay.
I play chords and I just keep it straight.
Can you play it?
Yeah, I can play a bit if you like. Yeah. Oh. This kind of thing. So basically, I just drive the band. I'm supposed to be a bit ahead of the drummer, and he plays a melody while I just kind of play. That kind of stuff. And I just keep going, and I can't stop. I can't stop to do anything. The drummer can stop, and
but you have to continue.
I have to continue. So if I'm getting scratchy or itchy or anything, I can't stop the bass. Everyone can stop the band but me. The drummer can drop his sticks, you know, whatever, you know, but I can't.
So you are continuously playing through the whole song?
The whole never stop, yeah.
This must be very tiring.
It gets really tiring, yeah. This hand just turns into like a, you know, like a claw, right? You just like this the whole time. Yeah, the muscles get tired.
I listen to a lot of like old ska reggae as well. A lot of those bands out of Jamaica in the 50s and then in the 60s playing again like a rhythm and blues style but Jamaican style kind of thing. So guys like Tommy McCook, you know, wonderful horn players, Don Drummond, trombone player, you know, wrote incredible compositions, and that was very inspiring. Simple stuff, but very, you know, catching. So he'd do something like, something idea anyways. That's my horn. This is the first horn I ever owned. Only horn I've ever owned, really. I have a couple more, but this is the one I got when I was 15 years old. I moved from clarinet to saxophone. This horn, and it was all beat up. It was all dented and everything, you know. It's a King Super 20 with the underslung, very unique horn. You don't see many of these anymore. You don't see many of these Band-Aid jobs on them either, but yeah. I got this horn, as I say, when I was 16 from a fellow who was with my sister, dating my sister at the time. My sister was in music management, you know, when she was younger. Anyways, he had this old beat-up horn, and he lent it to me, and I brought it into school, and my teacher said, "Oh, I'm going to make a lamp out of that one, and that's no good. You can't play that thing. It's too beat up." So I got it fixed. I got it all fixed up. And then the guy wanted it back. He took it back from me. And I was like, what, man? I mean, like, you know, I worked hard, you know. I mean, I spent like $500, $600, you know, getting a proper, you know, getting the dents taken out and such, you know. And then, and it was taken away, and I was just so sad. And my mom rented me another horn, you know. It's nice, you know, shiny H coupe, you know, perfect state-of-the-art, gorgeous horn. And, you know, it sounded nice. And I brought it to school, and my teacher loved it, of course, you know. But I didn't like it at all, you know. And then one Christmas, bam, under the Christmas trees. This case and this horn, you know, sitting there. She's been fooling me the whole time. So yeah, one horn now, since I was 16 years old. And if I ever buy a new horn, it'll be the exact same one.
Can I tell you a little story?
Sure.
So, years ago, Cliff was saying, I was a trumpet player. He was saying, you got to listen to Kid Thomas, man. And I said, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. I'll do that. I went and I got some records of Kid Thomas. And I listened to them, and I thought, man, that is weird. That is just weird. Yeah, he's okay, but it's not for me. So, it didn't connect. Then I went down to New Orleans about 30 years ago. And I sat on the floor in front of Kid Thomas Valentine. Now, Kid Thomas Valentine was an old-time trumpet player. He was born in 1896, and he played in New Orleans his whole life. And I sat on the floor in front of him, and he played at Preservation Hall, and he played a song called Moonlight Bay. And he changed my life. It was like the famous story of Paul on the road to Damascus, and he was struck and the scales fell from his eyes. From that moment on, I knew what I wanted to do. I want to play this kind of music, because this kind of music is the kind that can make me feel like this.
are you?
24.
That's very young to be playing like with a New Orleans jazz band.
Yeah, I know. They're all like twice to 3 times my age. It's pretty funny, actually.
Since you are very young and new in this band, what were your influences?
My influences? Metallica, actually.
Metallica?
Metallica, yeah. My older brother listened to it, and now my younger sister does. And that's what got me playing music, is Metallica pretty well. I really like them, so I just picked up a guitar and learned all their stuff.
Metallica is not a jazz band.
I know. Still need the same kind of chops, though. I mean, that metal stuff is so quick. Like, you got to be able to move really quickly for that. Simpler notes, I guess you could say, but no, it's hard. I can't play metal anymore. You got to play that kind of stuff all the time.
Do you remember any of the tunes from your childhood days that got you going on this?
I've always loved rockabilly and like early country. So listening to Elvis, especially like the first like the Sun recordings, that had a
Play it for me.
Bill Black. I guess he would do something like he'd always have the. Something like that.
I like from Baby Dodds, who's a famous New Orleans drummer, to less famous drummers like Cy Frazier, Sammy Penn, Alex Picard. There are a whole bunch of musicians that stayed in New Orleans and played the earlier style, but they picked up a little bit here and there from newer things that came along, like big band.
How did Baby Dodge play it? What is his influence? Can you play it for me?
I can try. Only.
That's good. Just a small piece.
Okay.
Since you've been watching this for 35, 40 years, a lot of band members have changed. What do you think of this, like the music?
Oh, they're doing good.
Yeah?
There's a lot of young people in it, but it's good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
When these band members change, do you find a change in music?
Well, when they get used to it, it comes out good.
Then it comes out good.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Well, Cliff always liked the young people playing anyway. Yeah. He always give them a chance.
and Patrick is doing the same thing.
And Patrick's doing a very good job. Yeah.
So as long as they are playing there, you will keep going.
That's right. Where am I going to go? Same old soup bone.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and whatever you brought with you, as the fella says, we have Miss Nooney here. Miss Nooney has arrived. All right. The party may commence, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do a little song, special song for Miss Nooney right now because she is our favorite. We're going to feature Tobias J. Hughes here on the alto saxophone. Song called Over the Waves. Over the Waves.
Patrick was telling me there's a Miss Nooney song.
Over the Waves. That's my favorite song.
Why?
Oh, I just love that song.
Over the Wave.
Yeah.
What is it that you love that song about?
Oh, it peps you up. Well, the guys were here from New Orleans and I made dinner for them. And I can't think of the bass player. And he was 85 years old. So we went down to the Harborfront and they were playing down there.
Okay.
And they played Over the Waves and he come over and got me to dance with him. Yeah.
Kid Bastard used to be the leader. He founded the Happy Pals, right? And he got these young people playing with him. Let me see. I was in my 20s. We were both in our 20s when we started playing with the Happy Pals. And then he eventually passed on. Really, that's the way I see it. I mean, I could see in a few years, I could see Lindsay perhaps taking over the Happy Pals and taking it to wherever it goes next.
Well, first you put your 2 feet close and tight, swim to the left and to the right. Step around town, nice and light. They fill around, you twirl around with all your might. Stretch your left arm out in space, then you do the eagle rock with style and grace. Put your foot way round, bring it back. That's what I call ball in the jack. Well, first you put your 2 feet close and tight, swim to the left and to the right. Step around town, baby, nice and light. Then twirl around, you twirl around with all your might. Stretch your left arm out in space, then you do the eagle rock with style and grace. Put your foot way round, bring it back. That's what I call ball in the jack.
I was never really into singing in front of people. And Patrick was like, oh, just try singing one song. Yeah, just try one song. I just pretend I'm in the shower because that's where I learned how to sing. I never, but also, I really do like singing. And that's, Roberta and I talked about that with the trombone. It's a lot like your voice because you have a lot of freedom to manipulate a note. So I don't know, it's nice. I get to play around with my voice.
Are you going to lead the Happy Pals after Patrick retires?
I don't know if I want to go back to playing trumpet for that style. I've been playing trumpet again, but not with New Orleans.
Why? Do you have to play trumpet to lead a band?
Yes and no.
Tell me why.
All right, yes, because the trumpet is the most commanding instrument in the band. So by way of how the songs go, they start the songs, you listen for when they end it. You're listening to the trumpet for direction, where to go. And that's my job, is to follow the trumpet player anyways, so automatically he's the leader. So when you confuse that with having someone else who's leading a band, but they're not playing trumpet, it just gets confusing, because the trumpet player doesn't want to intrude on whoever else's band it is, but everyone needs that to know when to end. Otherwise, you're just going to keep playing the song. It's going to be one of those endings where it's like, you know.
Destroy it, let it home, and you can talk with Jesus.
Roberta had been bugging me for years to quit my job and play music because she saw that was where my love was. And then a few years ago, I got really sick to the extent of nearly dying. And it does give you a real context. So I started thinking about it. You know, we're all going to be dead soon enough. So what do you really want to do? I said, I want to play music. So that's it. I just quit. And I've been playing music since. It's the best decision ever.
Roberta, don't you feel like becoming a full-time musician instead of teaching and music?
I love teaching. In fact, I drive Patrick crazy because I keep wanting to talk about physics and the cool things that my students did today, and I love teaching. And I firmly believe that all musicians should have a significant other who has a steady job and a medical plan. It's silly to have two civil servants married to each other. That's a waste. And it's really silly to have two artists or musicians married to each other. They're just going to be poor. What we need to do is make sure we hook up all of the people with a steady job and a health plan with some artists.
Does this allow you to live comfortably with this kind of lifestyle?
Money-wise, no way. No, but well, the traveling pays for itself in a way, so that's lucky. I mean, a paid trip to Europe, and we get treated pretty well out there.
Okay, what happens when you come back?
It's different. Playing bars it's a different thing, but you actually get to connect with people and hang out with the audience, which is so important because they drive us to play. You know, if they're not having fun, we can't.
Do you consider how your future will work out?
Musically, not really, because I never expected to be playing right now.
Well, what do you plan to do then?
Well, I'd like to do some carpentry. I'd like to maybe renovate houses for a bit just to get some money, as well as be playing at night, because that's my fun. That's how I release any tension.
to make it as a musician means you need to bring in enough money to pay the rent. Playing a few gigs a week, it's hard to do that.
One reason why it's hard to make a living playing music is because there's so much recorded music. And it's too bad because recorded music stops people from playing music. And recorded music stops people from going out and hearing live music. And they don't realize that there is that extra element. There is an immediacy that you get from live music. And there is a pleasure that you get from playing music. And very few people play music anymore because they can pull out their iPod and hear all this fabulous music that they cannot possibly reproduce. And yet, to play it as well as you can is thrilling. You know, you don't have to be, you know, Yehudi Menuhin, and you don't have to be Miles Davis, whoever you want. You can play your stuff, and it's a very different experience. You miss that kissing. You miss that hugging. Oh, you miss my loving when you're gone away. You feel so lonely. You want me only. Yeah, but honey, you had your way. Oh, and darling, it's gonna grieve me. Ha! Right there. Gonna miss my loving. Oh, some of these days.
Playing music is thrilling for the person playing the music, but it's also thrilling for the audience because there's no barrier, there's no big stage. This is just folks, right? You can do it. In fact, look at people in the band. Lindsay, so on, all these guys, Toby. They came and heard this music, and they said, "That's really cool. That's great. I want to do that. I like that." And now they're doing it. That's the point. It's that bringing of people in. That's the point.
Yes. Everywhere. I like
There's some dirty pictures in here, Pat. I don't know if you want me going through all these. I don't know if you want me going through all these.
Where's the dirt? Where's the dirt?
Oh, hang on, back here.
Naked woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, on the rock?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, naked women on the rocks.
Naked women on the rocks.
The mad professor. Cost to like own a set of this.
Oh, nice leg.
They're terrific. It's great. It's like nothing's changed.
Never changed. Not a bit.
Extra. Go back to the brass notes.
banjo players are so weird.
Well, that's true. Everyone makes fun of us. That's
No, it's
why
true.
we're weird.
You guys are weird people.
And when the bluegrass community, they do the same thing. They
Yeah.
make fun of the banjo players.
Oh.
And they can play twice as fast and better than all of them,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
funny. Not me, but they can.
Yeah. Yeah.
The requisite.
I have to pee.
But how old were you when you first heard the band at Grossman's?
At Grossman's, I don't know, I was probably about 10 years old. 10 years old, 11 years old, something like that.
Yeah. What were you doing in a bar when you were 10?
Ask my mom.
Yeah.
I asked my mom. She'd truck us all over the place to see the bands, to see.
Well, our kids grew up at Grossman's too. I mean, it was like a daycare center, right? And
She used to do puppet shows behind the piano. Absolutely great. Little kid and her feet, sitting in a chair and her feet didn't hit the ground, and she sang a song with the band. I Like Bananas, I think.
I like Bananas because they have no bones, which is really quite a rude song. Come down to it. She sang it away, and she had a great old time, and the audience went crazy.
How are the lines of this song? It's a rude
Oh,
song.
well, it's not outright rude. As you know, no matter where I go with Susie, May, or Anna, they all want to know, where's my banana?
You've ruined another song for me. Another childhood song you've ruined.
Just now?
Every week. Yeah, I never noticed.
I mean, the thing about Grossman's is there's young kids. There was a 26-month-old kid dancing their brains out there yesterday. Sasha. And then there's people who are 90 and like Jack.
Huh? The guy with the cane yesterday.
There was a guy with a cane yesterday. He was pantomiming the Folsom Prison Blues with his cane. Like, I shot a man in Reno.
Who was the guy who used to play with the Happy Pals? Who used to play drums with the Happy Pals? Who had a mustache? No.
Had a mustache.
Yeah, he had a mustache.
Cliff.
Oh, that was Chuck.
So funny. Yeah, this.
He was hot, man. He was a good drummer.
Yeah, in
win.
Yeah, we got here. He's got him here. His mustache.
There's the mustache, man.
Yeah. He grew the mustache so that they'd stop asking him for ID.
Yeah, it still didn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Mid-50s and people still check his ID. No, he's a wonderful guy. Wonderful guy. And he understands the music better than anybody. And lately, he's been getting really aggressive as a singer. Nice.
Yeah. Is that a tooth?
No, it was a cough drop.
Oh,
he's been getting
I thought it was a tooth.
Put that in the jar.
lately. Oh, whatever.
Put it on my necklace.
We're getting conversation later.
No, Chuck's singing has been getting wonderful.
Yep.
He's a beautiful trumpet. When I've known Chuck for almost 40 years, and I've been playing with him solid for nearly 40 years. When I first knew him, he was a French horn player. I knew him in high school, and he was a French horn player. And then he started trying to play the drums a little bit. We had a little rock band with a couple of friends of ours, a guitar player, and this and that. And now he's the best drummer on the planet.
Mm-hmm. So he just switched from horn to the drums.
Yeah.
Tyler was saxophone when I first met
forgot
him.
about that.
Yeah. And
we all switched it up a little bit.
It's like, well, this isn't working, so let's find the shit that no one else wants to do, and then we will all do it.
Yeah, and then there's Lindsay switched from trumpet to trombone, and when she did that, I switched from trombone to piano. But Patrick's been all over the map.
I was playing trumpet originally, and then I switched to saxophone and then clarinet, and then in there somewhere I spent a lot of time playing banjo. And used to play banjo with the Happy Pals sort of on a sub basis, when they needed a banjo player. And then when the kid Bastian died, I switched back to what is it?
Trumpet. Yeah.
Strumpet. Strumpet.
Yeah.
Impudent trumpet. And everybody gets around.
I think the point of this is you play the music. It's not the instrument so much. You play the music.
What is Happy Pals to you?
The Happy Pals, well, it's this party band, you know. We just play party music for stuff that people like to hear and dance and drink and clap and hang around. It's party music.
Happy Pals to me.
Here's your cigarette holder.
It was a load of fun.
Happy Pals to me. Oh, it's like kind of life changing in a way because really done a lot of things I wouldn't have expected. And yeah, it's a party band. Yeah, Saturdays sometimes.
I guess old people dancing. I find that funny.
You young punk.
Well, it's true. They grab onto your arm and spit in your face while they're talking. That's just funny. And then the women hit on you a bit. The guy sits in the corner and cries, you know. Stuff like that. I don't know. It's fun. It is a party band, actually. It's great. And the old people dance better than young people, so it's cool.
Oh, shit, yeah. The name used to embarrass me. So, I hear you playing a band. What's the name? I go, because it sounds so goofy. But over the years, I've realized that's exactly what it is. You know, I'm happy and I'm proud. I'm no longer. I'm happy and I'm proud. Yeah, that's what it is. The Happy Pals. People come in, they have a good time.
The Happy Pals to me is a life sentence. That's it. No, it's a lot of fun. It's a blast. I've been spending my Saturday afternoons at Grossman's for quite some time now, and it's a hoot to play. It's I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's like, as they say, going to church.
So if you like this music, tell your friends, bring them all back here. If you don't like this music, be very quiet about that. Don't forget to pick up a CD while you're still drunk. And don't forget to smoke dope with your